Hello. Yeah, hi, a very good evening to everyone. I hope my voice is loud and clear to all of you.
Yeah, hi.
Okay. All right. Let's start in 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes. I think people are still joining in. Let's just wait for them. Let's start in 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, so hi also, I think we can start now. So again, a very warm welcome to the training session and the first session of data science trainings. So all what we will be doing is we will be starting off with Excel, right? So because from the like from the background, what I know is like most of you are coming from the working experience, but we're not into data science. So from some or the other, the domain or the area of the work experience. So the session we are going to start off with is that would be Excel. And in the Excel, the idea would be now not to start from the scratch, because I'm hoping that all of you would be having some level of experience onto the working of the Excel, right? So anyone who is like completely new to the Excel, who has never used Excel and probably will be using it for the first time, do we have anyone over here? Okay, so I'm hoping like all of you have some basic understandings, right? Like for example, what is a sheet, what is a workbook, and how do we save a file? How do we do certain formatting on this sheet, right? How do we insert? I mean, some of the some very basic functionalities around the formatting of the sheets and working with some very basic formulas, right? Like sum, count, uh, minimum, maximum, those kind of formulas. I hope most of you would be having some familiarity with that. So having said that, so let's just start exploring the Excel over here, right? So first of all, what I would like to do is we would like to start off with why Excel is important in data science. Right. So I would like to start off with a very basic and a very simple statement over here, that why should a person be exploring, or why a person should be learning Excel when he or she is making their career in the data science, right? See, the reason for that is Excel is the simplest form in which the data can be stored, right? So Excel is basically called as spreadsheet, in which what we do is we simply dump our data and we can store the data. Now, Excel can be used for data manipulation, right? Excel can be used for visualization, right? So you can make some interesting visualizations in the Excel. Excel can be used for statistics, right? So you can actually do some level of regression and statistical stuff right in the Excel itself, right? So these are some of the key pointers that where the Excel can be used very effectively. And if I put one more point, Excel can be used for making the reports and dashboards, right? So we can use Excel for making reports and dashboards as well. Now, if you see, there are so many use cases that I have written over here for the Excel. And typically, all the languages and all the stuff that we are going to learn throughout this training will be revolving on all these things only, right? You will be learning on how do we do the data manipulation, how do we use visualizations, what statistics is all about, and how do we make the reports and dashboard. In this entire training, you will be learning all these things with the help of different tools, right? Like for example, you will be learning R, Python for statistics and predictions. You will be learning Tableau and Power BI for visualizations and making reports and dashboards. You will be learning SQL for doing the data manipulation. So you will be learning loads of tools, but all of these tools are going to revolve around these functionalities that I've just written over here, right? So if I can do all these things in the Excel itself, then why we are learning all the other functionalities, right? So that also is something that will come to our mind. So probably the answer for that is Excel has limitations, right? The first limitation Excel has is data size, right? In Excel, we cannot store more than 1 million rows of data. Right now, that's the first and the more, I will say, most important limitation that we have, that we cannot store more than 1 million rows of data. And looking at the industries, 1 million is like peanuts, right? There's like there are millions and millions of rows of data that we generate on a daily basis. Secondly, data integrity. That is a big issue. Okay. Performance, that's also a limitation. And then it comes to, when it comes to making reports take a lot of time to be created in Excel, and they also don't have much flexibility. Okay, so now these are some of the limitations that Excel has. Basically, data size. We cannot store more than 1 million rows. Data integrity, right? You cannot be sure that all that data that you will be storing in an Excel will be of the purest form. Performance, as the data size increase in Excel, the performance of Excel goes down, which again is like a blow, right? And when you have to create some reports and dashboards in Excel, you will actually have to spend a lot of time in order to build them up. So That is why, these are some of the limitations that have, limited the data scientists to the use of Excel. But the good thing is, for any project, right, for any project that you will work, the starting point is always Excel, right? Basically, what happens is, like, whenever you work on any project, so we never start consuming all that data in one go, right? First, what we do is we take just a small set of a data to understand what client's requirement is, what kind of data they are generating, what kind of, the analysis that we will require to do, how we will require, what kind of algorithms we will have to apply on them. All that understanding is actually done in the Excel only. Once that understanding is made, then what happens is the company, you know thinks that, okay, now we need to use Tableau or R or Python in order to get up and running, and then they start consuming some more sophisticated tools in order to build the solution, right? So that is what the importance of Excel is. Excel is just like a starting point, and later on the things start moving on to the more sophisticated tools. I hope I'm making sense to all of you, all the things that we are discussing.
Yes.
Yeah, getting it.
Right. So now, since we discussed these pointers over here, so let's now start exploring some of the stuff in the Excel. Okay. So if you see, right, so basically in this training, we are going to explore on three products of Microsoft. Okay. So Microsoft is a big player, right, in terms of data science, because they have variety of tools for different segments of data analytics, right? So like the tools that we all will be learning from Microsoft are, we will be learning SQL, we will be learning Excel, SQL Server, and Power BI. Okay, now these are the three technologies that we are going to learn from Microsoft. Now, why I am paying so much focus on the name or the brand Microsoft is because Microsoft has a unique properties, that what they do is they keep the interface of the products similar, right? Like if you open Word, you open Outlook, and even if you open any other tools like SQL 7, Power BI, what happens is they always keep a ribbon at the top. Okay, you will always find there is always a ribbon at the top in all the products of Microsoft, and this ribbon is very much similar in all the products. Okay, so at in all the products, this is something at the top, this is called as a ribbon. Okay, and in the ribbon, what they do is they place different tabs, right? So home tab, insert tab, right? You have page layout tab. Now definitely, these tabs will have different options according to the product that you will be using, right? But overall idea and the look and feel is going to be the same. Like for example, if I show you this Power BI, okay, now this is also a product of Microsoft. See over here also you will notice that they have home tab, insert tab, modeling tab, view tab. So they have broken the data into the different tabs, right? So the overall, this the ribbon at the top is exactly the way we have a ribbon in the Excel. And similarly, if you will open any other tool, like you all would have used Excel and Word. And like if we open the Word also, you will notice that they have these tabs at the top over there. Okay. Now this is basically how the Microsoft has created their product. Now, if I talk about these products, the different tabs that we have, right? The first tab that we have over here is, that is home tab. In the home tab, mostly what you're going to do is you're going to find the options related to the formatting stuff, right? Like for example, any text that you have written, you want to apply some formatting, you want to change the alignment, or you want to you want to convert something into the form of currency, percentage, likewise, right? So that is how the data is basically, this is how you can apply certain formatting levels onto your the data in the Excel, right? Like you have written something bold, italics, underlining, increasing the font size, decreasing the font size, changing the text color or the background color, you will find all those options over here. Okay. So now basically what happens in Excel is, if you will look, you all will see that when you write any numbers, right? If you write numbers are always right aligned. And when you write something called as text, some character always comes left aligned. Okay. This is how Excel, basically tells you that whether the data is in the form of a numerical data or it's in the form of a textual data. Now, when it comes to dates, right? So anyone who knows how Excel stores the dates? Are Excel dates are stored in the form of a number, or are they stored in the form of a text?
Is it a text?
So dates are stored in the form of numbers. Okay. Like for example, if I store today's date, okay. So if I put today's date, now it's 5th of May, sorry, 4th of May. Today, this is the date that we have. Now, if you see over here, when I have stored today's date, how is it coming? Is it coming left aligned or right aligned?
Right.
Right.
Right. And this is something that we saw, that this is something that we discussed, that numbers are right aligned and text data is left aligned. Right. Now but you all will be wondering, right, that this doesn't look like a number, right? It doesn't look like a number right now, right? Because it is having a date, it is having a forward slash. So this is a part of a text. Maybe if you try to write the date in some another format, right? Suppose I write the date in this format. So we have a day also and date also, commas and everything. Still, this comes on the right hand side that you are writing it in the form of a textual only, but then why am I saying that dates are stored as numbers? So the answer for that is, see, now date is something, date has various formats. Okay. This is what happens in some countries. We write first the day, then we write the month, then we write the year, right? In some countries, they write first the month, then they write the day, and then they write the year. Sometimes when we are making a report, we write, a bigger form of a month, comma, we write day, we put comma, we put the years. So there are different ways in which we put the data. Okay, there are various ways in which we store the dates, right? Guys, just give me 1 second. I'll just take 1 minute. Okay, sorry. Yeah. So I was talking about date as various formats, right? So now someone writes the date like this, someone writes a date like this, right? So now, because when you apply the formats, then how the system is going to remember that what date is it, correct? For example, if I write something like this, now how can I tell what date is this? Is it like 2nd of March or it is 3rd of Feb? How will I get to know on that part, right? What date is it? So that is why what happen is in Excel, and not just Excel, in any other tool as well, dates are always stored in the form of numbers. Now what happen is for every date, okay, for every date in the back end, what Excel does is Excel generates a number. Okay. And how those numbers are generated, let me tell you. Now in Excel, 1st Jan 1900. Now this is the oldest date in Excel, right? This is the oldest date that we have in the Excel. And this date is stored as number 1. This date is actually stored as number 1. Okay, like if you will now change the data type, right? So basically what happen is, like when you store anything in any of the cells, there is this section that you see over here, from where what you can do is you can convert something into the form of a date or in the form of a number or anything like that, right? So you have this date, I am converting this in the form of a number. Now if I convert this thing in a number, I get the number as 1, right? Basically, so when I converted that date of 1st Jan 1900 into a number, it is giving me the result as 1. And same way, if I write 1 over here and I say, let me convert this number 1 in the form of a date. So if I convert this into a date, I get the date as 1st Jan 1900, right? Are you all with me? So basically, 1st Jan 1900 is stored as number 1. And likewise, all the next dates that we have, they are just the consecutive numbers after 1. Basically, what do I mean by that is, if I talk about the 2nd Jan, right? This is the 2nd Jan 1900. Now this is stored as number 2. Now this is 1, this is 2, and likewise all the dates that we will have, they are just getting incremented by 1. Like for example, this date that we will have, the 3rd Jan, this will be stored as number 3, and I can show you that, right? So if I convert these all these dates into the form of a number, you see I get 1 2 3. If I convert all these numbers into the form of a date, I am going to get 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th. Okay, so can anyone tell me what will be the number of 31st Jan 31st Jan 1900?
31.
31.
31, right? And then what
31.
will be the, right? And what will be the number of 1st Feb 1900?
32.
32.
32, correct? So that is how the numbers are maintained. And if I see, let's check this also once again. If I convert this in the form of a number, I get 32. So what is happening is this numbering is being maintained since 1st Jan of 1900. So that is where, if you will see today's date that I have, now this date will also have a number. And let me show you that number now, what that number is. The number that I get is 44,320. Okay, this is the number that I am getting. So that means we have, there are 44,320 days that have passed since 1st Jan 1900. Can I say it right? These many days have passed since 1st Jan 1900 because that numbering is being maintained since that date. If suppose I write the number as 44321, right? This was 320, this is 321, the next. If I'll convert this into date, what date will I get?
April 5th.
May, 5th May
May.
2020. So we will get 5th of May. So we get 5th May 2021. So that is how the dates are being stored in the backend in the form of a number. Now for Excel, date is just a number that, okay, if this is a number, that means it's 4th May. If this is a number, that means it's the 5th May. So now on top of that, whatever format you apply, whether you write the date in this format, you write the dates in this format, or you write the dates in this format, Excel will be able to understand that what date exactly are you talking about, because in the backend it's a number. I hope I'm clear to all of you.
Amit, I have a quick question. If there is a data redundancy, if the same dates repeats for 5 rows, what would be the number? The number would be same or?
If you're saying the same date being repeated in multiple rows,
Uh-huh.
so the number will be the same. So for example,
Oh,
if I just write, this is the date that you have.
okay.
Okay, if I write this in multiple rows over here, or maybe if I even change the formats also at certain places. So suppose I change the format also, I make it like this. So everywhere it's a date only. So if you will see over here, the number will be 1. If I convert this into the number, so everywhere I'm going to get 1.
Okay, okay. Got it now. Yeah. Thank you.
So now what we understand over here is dates are stored as the numbers. What about time? Okay, so now how does Excel stores the time, right? So for example, if I talk about the time as 2 p.m., right? Or maybe I still want to store the time as 3:30 a.m. Now, what do you think how Excel is storing the time?
Since it is right aligned, I assume it's number.
Correct? Because it is coming as right aligned, so that means the time is also being stored as numbers. Okay. Now, what numbers? Right now, this is the part that comes. What numbers is stored as by the in the form of a time. So what happen is Excel stores dates as whole numbers and time as in the decimal numbers. Okay, so Excel stores the date as whole number, right? This is what we have seen, like all the dates like 1, 2, 3, 44,320, 44,321, they were all whole numbers, correct? Now, or I will say integers, right? So they were like more like integers or whole number, whatever you want to say. And when it comes to the time is stored as a decimal part, and that too between 0 to 1. Okay, 0 to 1 as a decimal part is something that is stored in the form of a time. That is how the Excel stores the time. Like for example, if I convert these into numbers, sorry, not time, they already are in the form of a number. You get 0.58, 0.15, correct? So basically, we have 24 hours in a day. Okay. So what Excel has done is Excel has divided all that 24 hours into the decimal part starting from 0 to 1. Okay. Like for example, if I'll write 0.0, right? 0.0 means that I am talking about 12 a.m. 12 a.m. in the morning, because that is 0, because my numbering is starting from 0. That is 12 a.m. in the morning, because that is how the time also starts. That the first hour of the day starts as 12 a.m. in the morning. So that is stored as a number, decimal part is 0. If I'll say 0.5, what part of the time will it be?
12:30.
Huh?
12:30.
AM.
No. See, between 0 to 1. 0 to 1.
12
Between
p.m.
0 to 1, we have 12 hours or 24 hours. Right, 12 p.m. Right?
PM.
This will be 12 p.m. So if I convert this in the form of a time, this is 12 p.m. So 0 was 12 a.m. And then when I put 0.5, that becomes half of the day. That is 12 p.m. Okay, like if I have the number as 0.75, right? So it's like a quarter. So it should be 9 p.m. 6 p.m. Sorry, right? So the 6 p.m. the quarter, right? So not the 9 p.m. That would be uh, the next part of it. So we have 3 parts, 6 p.m. So I get 0.75 as this. So this is how the time is managed. Like for example, if I have the number as this, okay, if I have this number, can you tell me what date and time is it?
May 12 p.m.
Huh?
May 4th, 12 p.m.
44320 is today's date, right? That is what that number is that we were
May
seeing over
4th.
here. That was 4th
Yeah.
May. And 0.5 means
12
12
p.m.
p.m. right? 12 p.m. So this is basically today's date, 4th of May, 12 p.m. This is the time that I'm referring over here. So we do not have that over here. We do not find this option over here right now, but you have something called as more number formats. If you will click on this, you will be able to find more time formats as well. So you have to come to the date. And so I can pick this up. So this is a format. So I have opened for more formats. So in this format, I want to pick up a format that gives me date also and time also. So I'm picking data. So if you see now, it has shown me in the sample also. Today is 5th of May, 4th of May, 12 p.m. And it gets converted into that. Okay. Now I hope everyone, all of you are clear on this date and time, how Excel is storing and managing them.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now let's move ahead with this. Okay. So now if you will come over here, right now, this is the part from where you can select what type of, format you want to keep on that numbers that we were talking about. So you can select any one of them, right? So you want to apply currency format, date format, percentage format. So you just have to select from here and you can apply that format on any of the data that you would have written over here in this cells over here. Now what happens over here is, see, there is something that is called as formatting. Like, right, formatting is, suppose I have written something over here, I write something as sales. Sales was 1000, 2000, 3000. Now by default, these are the alignments that you get, right? These are the alignments that you get, which are like this, the formats, I mean, the text is coming left aligned, numbers are coming right aligned. But if you want to change the alignment according to your needs, we can do that from here, right? You can make it center aligned like this, or left aligned, or right aligned. You can do those alignments from here if you want. Okay. And if you want to give some color gradients, you can do that. So you want to make the text as red, you want to give the background color as orange, you can do that. This is a title, you want to give some another coloring, another color background to this, you can do that from here. Okay. And let me do one thing, let me apply a formula over here where I want to find the sum of sales, right? Sum of sales would be 3000 plus 2000 plus 1000, that gives me 6000. So if you want to apply, you want to find the sum. So how can I find the sum of sales? See, in Excel, what happens is we work a lot with the formulas. Okay, Excel, and we will be learning some of the very important formulas as well in this session, which are very important from the the implementation perspective, something that you will be using day in day out, and also from the interview perspective as well. Now, if I want to find the sum of this, how can I find the sum of this? Anyone who can tell?
Equal to sum.
Equal to sorry,
Equal to sum.
of selecting the columns.
Yeah. So we say equal to sum. We open up the bracket, and then I just select all these three. I just select three cells, and there I get the sum of this. Okay. Now over here, I am going to write shortcut to find the sum. The shortcut to find the sum is Alt plus equal to. Right. So now if this is something, if I remove this sum, and if you press Alt equals to, see right away the sum formula has been applied. So Alt equal to is a quick shortcut which you can use if you want to find the sum of the numbers. What that shortcut does is it automatically identifies that up till what range the numbers are, and it will give you the sum. Okay, and this is a formula that works horizontally also, right? If suppose you have the numbers like this, and you want to find the sum of all these numbers, if you will say Alt equal to, see it selects all the numbers up till that range, and it gives you the sum over here, that is 26. Okay, so all of you please try this at your end. Okay, now see, all of you please remember, Excel is lot about shortcuts. Okay, now basically all the people who really want to have a good speed, right, in Excel, you will, I have worked with certain people, and you all might have also worked with certain people who are like really good with Excel, right? They can do all the things very quickly, right? What they do is they just, you give them any Excel and they will do all that formatting manipulation by just, they won't even use a keyboard. Oh, sorry, they won't even use a mouse. They will do all the things from the keyboard only, and at a very high speed they are able to do all the things. And how they are able to do it? Because of the shortcuts, right? If the people know the shortcuts in the Excel, only then they can have a great speed to work in the Excel. Now, all the operations, right? For all the operations, you will find that there is some or the other shortcut key that is created. And definitely you will not be able to learn all the shortcuts, which is not possible, for anyone. Basically, shortcuts are something that you learn over a period of time, that the kind of tasks that you do on a daily basis. So those, those shortcuts you are able to remember, and you are able to store them into your mind, that how we use it. So that is why I have said that Excel is a lot about shortcuts, right? Small shortcut I have used over here to find the sum. But if you want to see a shortcut for anything, right? If you want to see the shortcut for anything in Excel, so what you do is simply press Alt. Okay. So when you press Alt, you will notice some alphabets and numbers will come at the top, right? If suppose I want to make the number bold, right? Although for making something bold, we have a shortcut Control plus P. Okay, so when you hover on any of that icon, it shows you what that shortcut for doing that thing is. And many times you will not have a quick shortcut also that would be mentioned. But there's a trick. So what you can do is when you press Alt, so what it does is it gives you the shortcut keys for the different tabs, right? Suppose if you want to make a number bold. So this option is lying in which tab? It is lying in the Home tab. So you press H. Now, when you press H, it gives you all the shortcut keys in the home tab for all the different operations that you have. If you want to make a number bold, you can press 1. If you want to make a number italics, you can press 2, right? Like for example, let's try this thing. This is a word. I press Alt, it gives me shortcuts over here. I press H, all the shortcuts inside the home tab, and I press 1, right? Alt H1. Now that is also a shortcut to make a number bold. If I press Alt H2, it makes it italic. If I may press Alt H3, it underlines it, right? So if you see over here, I didn't have to go to any Google website to find what that shortcut is. I was able to find the shortcut right from the Excel itself. You press Alt, it starts giving you the shortcut keys. Okay, so all of you, please try this. Okay. Shall I move ahead? See what happens over here is now we are going to learn something about copy and paste. Okay. So now copy, control C, control V. This is something that we have been doing for a long time now, right? So when we have to make our notes, we have to make our research papers or anything, most of the time what we do is we copy and paste. So now let's see how we can do the copying and pasting in the Excel. Right? It's very simple. You press Control C and you press Control V. As simple as that, right? Copying and pasting. It's Control C and Control V. But in Excel, you have a little more when it comes to pasting, right? So when you paste something, paste is for the shortcut that we use is that is Control V. So in this, what happens is all the things are pasted, right? All the things they get pasted. What do I mean by that? All the things are pasted is that, see, when I copied this thing in this range, right? So basically, these one single cell is called as a cell, and when you select couple of them together, this is called as a range. Okay, I have this range. Now in this range, I have a lot of stuff, right? I have a data, I have formatting, I have formula. Agree? Will you agree? So you have the data over here, sales, 1000, 2000, 3000. This is all data. There is bold and the colors that I have added. That is the formatting. And in the last, there is also a formula, right? There is a formula that we have kept. So in this range over here, I have kept a couple of things, right? Data, formatting, and formula. These are the three things that I have placed over here. Now, what I want to do, what I want to understand, and what I want to tell you over here is when you press Control V. So what happens in that case is what Excel will do is it will copy each and everything and paste that thing over here. Okay. So it has copied the data also, formatting also, and formula also. But many a times it will happen that you will only be requiring to copy only data, or you might want to copy only the formatting, or you want to copy only the formulas. So that is how what you can do is you can control the paste. So whatever you want to paste, you can control that thing, and that is something that is called as paste special. Okay, that is called as paste special. How do you get the paste special? So let's see that. If you copy something over here, when you come on the paste, there is an option of paste special at the bottom, right? When you click on paste special, this is a dialog box that you all are going to get. Okay, so all of you please try this. So what I've done is, suppose this is something that you have copied and you want to paste it over here. So just go and click on paste special. So now when this window opens up, so from here, so by default you will see, by default you are going to see over here that the option that they have selected over here is, that is the option of all. All means it is going to copy the formatting also, the data also, formula also, and there is something that is called as comments. So you can put comments also in the cell. So I'll just show you what comments are. So it is going to copy it and paste each and everything. But suppose you only want to paste formatting. So if you click on formats and click OK, you will notice only the coloring effect has come, but there is no data. Right? So I made a selection that I only want to paste the formatting. So whatever coloring format was used over here, that has been copied and pasted over here. But I don't have, I haven't got the data now, or I haven't got the formula. Okay. So what's the shortcut for the paste special? The shortcut for paste special is Alt plus E plus S. Alt E S. So basically what happens is when you copy something and wherever you want to paste it, if you press Alt E S, that same window is going to come up, paste special. So there's a shortcut key for that. Okay. Now from here, over here on this window also, you are going to see the shortcut keys. If you want to paste only the formulas, you can press F. If you only want to paste the values, you can press V, right? You want to paste only the formats, you can press T. Like for example, suppose I press V over here. I press V. So it will only paste the values. You see, I get only the values. There is no formatting that has been copied. So formatting is not copied. I have only got the values. Sales, 1000, 2000, 3000, 6000. So that is the values that I have got. So the formula has also been now removed. So formula has been converted into the value right now, and the value is 6000. Okay. And now, please always remember that, in Excel, what happens is when you apply some formatting on this data, right? When you apply this formatting on that data, so what happens in that case is when you apply such formatting, so in the case of formatting, that takes some memory. Okay, when you apply some colors and all, the file size will increase because of that. Okay, so you should try to avoid any unrequired formatting on the data. Okay, the unnecessary formatting of the data should be uh, try to be ignored, so that otherwise the file size will increase unnecessarily. Now what I want to do is, suppose these are the sales values, I hope anyone, any question up till here, anything you would like to ask me? Okay. See, what I would like to do now is, suppose these are the numbers. I want to multiply all these numbers with 10, or maybe I want to multiply all these numbers with 12. How can I do that? Not by 5, just multiply by 12. How will I do it?
In the formula bar equal to selected cell *5.
Okay, right? So this is what you will do. You will say simply say equal to this number multiplied by 5,
Yeah.
correct? And you will be on maybe by 12, right? So if you want to multiply it by 12, so I can do that. But now I'm again going to tell you a quick shortcut over here for this. See, what I do is when you are multiplying, in this case, what is happening is these numbers are here, and you have to make a new column where you have to keep that multiplication. Okay, what you can do is if I write 12 over here and I say Control C, I'm copying this number. You come to these numbers over here and press Alt E S. Let the paste special values. In the paste special box, you will see you also have an option to multiply, divide, add, and subtract. So I copied this number 12, right? This was the number that I've copied. Now I'm saying this number that I've copied, I want to multiply all these numbers with 12. So I copy it, I select my range, and I say paste special. And if I say multiply, you notice all the numbers are now multiplied by 12. So this is just a value that you have got. There is no formula, but these are direct values that you have got. So you can multiply, add, subtract numbers as well with the help of paste special. So please try this once. Okay. So now if you see over here, all right, what we were doing was we were doing the formatting over here, in which what was happening was we were doing the formatting uh, based on our own, the kind of formatting that we wanted to do. Right? Like for example, if you wanted some color green, red, bold, italics. So I was doing all these formatting by myself. Now there is an option in Excel which is called as conditional formatting. Okay, this is called as conditional formatting. Now in conditional formatting, as the name tells, right? So we have something called as conditional formatting. Okay, now this means formatting based on a condition. Right, so there will be some formatting that will be applied on the cells based on a condition that you will be choosing. Suppose you have some numbers with you. So for that, let's do one thing, right? Let's do one thing. Let me share a link with you from where you can download a data file. Okay. So that would be, we will get some data also with that. So just sharing that link. Okay, so I've shared a link with all of you over the chat. So that link is going to open up this page. And from here, you have to download this file, Excel file. Okay, if you open this file, this is data that we will be using in multiple areas. This is a good amount of data that we have. Right, this is a sample superstore data. So all of you, please open this file. You will find, in this file, we have the data related to superstore. Like, whenever you go to any of the superstores and when you do some shopping, right? So what happens over there is an order ID that gets generated for you, right? There's an order ID that you get. So you get an order ID, the date on which that order was sold, and what was who was the customer who purchased it, from which country, state, and city that order was purchased, right? You have the category, subcategory, like for which category, subcategory that product was purchased, what was the sales amount, quantity, and discount and profit that the store made. So this is the level of information that is something that you have in this file. I hope all of you are able to access this file.
Yes.
Okay, so you will notice, right? So if suppose now I'm going to tell you some shortcuts over here. So before we talk on that conditional formatting, I'm going to talk about certain shortcuts, and these shortcuts are something you are going to use very heavily in the Excel. Okay, like in this Excel file, we have good amount of data. We have almost like 10,000 rows of data with us, right? We have 10,000 rows of data. Now, if suppose I am in the cell 1, right? This is called as cell. Now, every cell in Excel has an address, right? What's the address of this cell? That is A1. That is column number A, row number 1. So that is A1, column name and the row number. That is how you define a cell. Suppose if I am in this cell, the address of this cell is E5. That is column E, row number 5. That is how this address becomes E5. Now, if suppose you are in this cell, you want to go to the last cell. You want to see where that last value is. What's the shortcut for that? Anyone? Okay, the shortcut for that is control plus down arrow. Right, you have a down arrow on the keyboard. So if I am on this cell and if I press control plus down arrow, it is going to take me to the last cell of that column. So last cell is this. After this, there are no values inside this. Okay, but we have to make sure that when you press control plus down arrow, the data should be available in the continuation. It should not happen that there's somewhere the data is missing. If suppose at certain place the data was missing, so in that case what will happen is if you press control down arrow, it will stop there. It will stop where it was able to find the data in continuation up till the last. Now there was a blank, so you have to go down and again press control down arrow. So again to go to the last cell, right? And when you press control plus up arrow, it takes you to the above cell. It takes you to the above cell, right? Like for example, when I'm pressing control down arrow, it is taking to the down the downward direction. If I press up, it takes me in the upward direction. And same way, if you will press right arrow, it is going to take you in the right direction, and left arrow in the left direction. So that is how you can navigate between the Excel very easily. Control down, control up, control right, control left. So all of you, please try these quick shortcuts. Okay. Now over here, now we are going to talk about conditional formatting. See, there is a column of sales, right? If you will come over here in this, there is a column of sales. What I want to do is, I want to highlight all the sales that were of more than 500. Okay, what I want to do is, all the sales values that were more than 500, I want to highlight them. So how can I do that is, you select that range. Now, when I said, now again, there's a shortcut to learn over here. When you press Control plus down arrow, right? When you press Control plus down arrow, what happens in that case is Excel takes you to the last cell. But when you press Control plus Shift plus down arrow, in this case, what will happen is Excel is going to select the cells up till the last cell. If you press Control Shift down arrow, so the cells are also selected. So there is a selection of the cells that is made. Okay. So when the cells are selected, now what I'll do is I am going to apply a conditional formatting. So when you click on conditional formatting, it is going to give you certain rules. So how do you want to, what type of formatting do you want to apply? Suppose I want to highlight all those cells where the value is greater than 500. So I'm selecting that, wherever the value is more than 500, I want to apply a formatting. Suppose I want to make all those numbers with yellow fill and yellow text. Now, wherever the number will be more than 500, you will see it is being highlighted in the yellow. So this is conditional formatting, right? Formatting is done based on a condition. That whatever condition that I have applied, based on that condition, the formatting is being done. Okay, so all of you now please try highlight. So please highlight all the numbers in red which are less than 200. Right, highlight all the numbers with red which are less than 200. Okay, I hope you are able to do it. So you just have to do is you have to just select this sales value and you come to the conditional formatting, highlight cell rules, and you will say less than, right? You want to highlight those cells which are less than 200, right? And over here you can find that how do you want to format it. I want to fill light red fill with dark red text, and you have some formatting options over here, and you can click on custom format in order to choose your own way of formatting. Suppose you want to fill that with some blue color, you can choose your own color as well, right? If you click on OK, now you have applied your own formatting, that you wanted all the numbers which are less than 200, they should come with the blue background, and the numbers which are more than 500, they should come in the yellow. So you have applied your own formatting over here on these numbers. Okay, I hope you all are able to do it. Any question, anything you would like to ask?
Similarly, we can do it for a text, date.
You can do it for this other values as well. So you want to highlight some numbers which are having, say, suppose FUR, or you want to highlight the dates which are more, which are coming in the year of 2021. So you can apply that formatting for those values as well.
Okay.
So if you see over here, right, when you click on conditional formatting, you will find a lot of options over here, right? Like for example, what do you want to do? I want to highlight those cells which are greater than, less than, between, equal to, or a text that contains, right? Like for example, if I come on the category and I say I want to apply conditional formatting, I want to highlight those text that contain, suppose I say that contain A. Okay, just a simple example. And I click on, or maybe I can say, let's use the word as O. I'm saying in any word, if I'm having O, I want to highlight in the red. If you see now, all the words that are having O in them, they are highlighted.
Yeah.
Okay. Same way, if you come on the dates, you have a date over here. So you can select the date fields. Again, conditional formatting, highlight those cells, a date occurring. So you can select a date which is lying within the last, all the dates, whether of today, of the last 7 days, last week, this week, next week, last month, this month, next month. So you can select all that different formats of the dates that you want from here. Similarly, you also have conditional formatting where what you can do is you can highlight the duplicate data. Suppose I have written some data over here: apples, mangoes, grapes, and apples again. Suppose I want to highlight the duplicate values. So what I can do is, if I select this data, I can come on the conditional formatting and I can say highlight, and you have the option of duplicate values. So it is going to highlight the duplicate data for you. That apples is coming twice.
Okay, if we want to remove this conditional formatting, means what to do?
So what you do is you select this page. You come to the conditional formatting. Over here you have the option of clear rules. When you say rules from the selected cells, so this will remove the conditional formatting only from that range that you have selected. But suppose you want to remove the conditional formatting from the entire sheet, so you come over here, clear rules, and clear the rules from the entire sheet. So
Okay.
everywhere that will be.
Yeah, got it.
Okay. And also what you can do, so when you press Control Z, you can also undo that effect. And if you think that you want to, modify it, sometimes it happens that for rule that you would have applied, right, the condition formatting that you would have applied, you might like to edit it, right? Like for example, these colors that you have applied, you want to change them. So what you can do is, when you click on conditional formatting, you can click on Manage Rules. So when you click on Manage Rules, it will show you all the different conditional formattings that you have. I have two conditional formattings, where first of all I am saying that the number is less than 200, it should come in the blue color. If the number is more than 500, it should come in the yellow color. If suppose you feel that you want to change this, so you can just click on edit the rule. And then what you can do is the same option will come up that if the cell value is less than 200, this is the format. You can click on the format. You want to make it suppose in some this color. You can click on OK and click on OK. The formatting will change. Click on apply and OK. So you can also edit the formatting. It's not that once the formatting is done, you cannot make any change to that. You can do that changes also. You can edit the formatting as well. So how to do it? Just click on manage rules and click on edit the rule. Okay.
Is there a way to highlight the entire row instead of that particular cell based on the sales column?
Yes, we can do that. So I'll be showing you that. So, for that we'll have to apply a little formula on that. So we'll be doing that as well. Like for example, if you want to highlight that entire row wherever the sales are more than 500, 700, so we can do that as well. So for that, we'll apply a formula, so which I'll be telling you how to do that.
Okay.
Right. So I think this is where, I'm going to take a pause for today. Right. So I would just like to, spend last 5 minutes with you. If you have anything to share, to ask or discuss, any feedbacks for the session, like if you feel the pace and everything was fine, or if you need something to be, changed or something like that, you can please let me know.
Hi, I have a question. Like the one you mentioned about the date option that we have for conditional formatting. So it only gives you a limited value like yesterday, last month. What if I want to go for a certain year and certain month? So do we have that special rule? I mean that.
So we have to write the formulas for that.
Manage.
So we can do that thing. So with the help of by writing a formula. So that is something that I will be telling you that. So we use formulas to determine that. So you can write a formula that if the year is equal to 2017, then the formatting will be applied based on that. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so I think this is so. Although I'll start sharing the assignments also, but since today we have not done a lot of significant stuff, not a lot of stuff. Maybe by end of the tomorrow session, we will be in a position where I'll be able to share some assignments also for Excel, which you all can work in your as a homework, and we can discuss all the queries and questions in the class as well, right? So for this is how we will also proceed, that after every 2 or 3 days I keep on sharing certain assignments and some case studies on which you all can work upon. So this is where I think I'll take a pause. So yep. So if nothing more to discuss, we can connect tomorrow at the same time. Okay.
Hi, Amit. Can you please share the curriculum details?
That one I would have shared it. So I'll ask the team to share it. So that curriculum, let me just update them.
Okay. Yeah, it's for our reference now. That's what I asked.
Okay. Okay. Thanks everyone. See you all tomorrow. Then
Thank you, Amit.
Yeah, thank you for the session. Bye all.
Bye all.
Thank you, Amit. Bye all.
Bye.